taking the daily dish outside to the barbecue today. Chef Randy Feltis is making Sudbury-style porchetta, and he's serving it up 3 different ways. So here's what you're going to need to make it at home, because I know you're going to want to join in on this one. Some pork loin, pork belly, garlic, fresh rosemary, and dill, fennel seeds, lemon zest, and chili paste. All right, Randy, I've got to ask you, why do we call this the Sudbury-style porchetta? Is this a Randy Feltis thing, or does this exist in real life?
No, Sudbury is a real place, you know that, and they are very passionate about their porchetta. Now, my business partner in the last pizza joint was from Sudbury, and they were passionate about their porchetta, and their secret ingredient was dill. Wild dill they would put in there, and some other things that made it specific to Sudbury. But what they would celebrate this porchetta with is they would do porchetta bingo, Tracy. So you would sit down in a bar, and you'd have some cocktails and some stuff, and then you'd get a bingo card, you'd be playing, and if you were lucky enough to get the bingo, you didn't win any money, you won a pound of porchetta.
I think it's a way better prize. Who wants money when you can have porchetta? Can you explain what porchetta is, though? Like, what side, what part of the animal is this?
What we're doing is we're doing a pork belly. Now, you can also make a porchetta out of the entire pig, and you can bone it out and then have a crispy outside and then juicy in the inside. But typically, it's made in smaller portions at home out of the belly and then the loin as well. And then really what it comes down to is the seasoning, and that's where we're going to get a little bit special here. We've got a whole bunch of aromatics going in, so I'm just going to get right to it. Number one, first and foremost, is that fresh dill. That's what's going to set us apart and do the Sudbury thing. We're going to back that up with a little bit of fennel, kind of marriage that up, and then a little bit of rosemary. Now, Trace, you just got to, and you know I'm sensitive about this, but I'd be putting a little bit more in if you were coming over. That's the chili paste. Fresh chilies can go in there if you want to.
You're going
but that's
for
the
a bit
paste
of
I have in the fridge. Well, you got to spice it up a little bit. Some lemon zest is nice, right? And then we're going to go with some shallots and some garlic. Now, this is our one chance to smash in our seasoning as well, so we're going to go heavy on the kosher salt and some black pepper as well. So now it comes down to, you want to get your pork belly out, and a really important thing that I always do with this is I leave this in my fridge uncovered overnight by the fan, because you want that skin to be as dry as possible. And you want to try to keep that really dry, because that's what's going to make it extra crispy. And now, Tracy, the beautiful thing about porchetta is, number one, the flavor is really tasty. You get that crackling on the outside is number 2. But number 3, you can't do this in a small quantity. It's kind of like a really big thing going on. And you know what? It's okay, because the next day you can have leftovers, you can do your thing. Or maybe what you want to do, Tracy, is invite some friends over, play that bingo, and whoever wins can take a couple pounds home.
Okay, so it is a big amount of meat, and that's sort of the reason why we're doing it 3 different ways. So now, so you put the loin in, and you're going to wrap that all together?
And then like this, and then what we're going to do is I put the strings underneath just ahead of time, and this one does take a little bit of time, and you might need a partner for this one, but leverage helps as well. And what you're going to do is just going to tie this baby up as tight as you can go, right? Now the second thing is that we absolutely have to do, Tracy, is the goal here is to get the crispiest skin as possible. And in order to get crispy skin, you've got to keep this dry. So I'm outside on the barbecue instead of the oven. Now the oven will work inside, but the barbecue is going to be a drier heat. And so what I would do is I would take this and put it on a rack. And with the rack, the dripping is going to come down, and then the moisture is going to come out. And I throw that in the barbecue at 600 to 700 degrees, believe it or not. Are you ready for these results?
I'm ready. I can't wait to see how this turns out. How long does it usually stay on there for?
So I've got it as high as you can go, 600 or 700 degrees for about an hour, and then I bring it down for another hour and a half until we get our internal temperature about 145, then let it sit there. But as you can see, it's going to get crispy, crunchy, and delicious. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. So I don't know, Trace. I think what we need to do on this is go right through the middle. What do you think?
Go for it. Yeah, do it. I want to see what this looks like.
So I got a serrated knife here to get through this crispiness. And oh my God.
Oh, wow. And that's what you want. You want that tenderness on the inside, the crispy, shatteringly crisp on the outside. And now that we've got that done, you're actually going to do 3 different ways to do it, right? 3 different ways to serve it up. What's the first way?
Okay, here we go. So basically, like, this is kind of a large quantity thing. And I mean, you can kind of make it a little bit smaller quantity. You can simply just take a nice big chunk of this, get that crackling and get the loin on the outside, and you can put this down just like that. Roasted potatoes, you know, this just screams, I'm at the barbecue. That's round 1, okay, if you're not playing bingo. Round 2 is the next day, or if you're doing a bigger barbecue and you have a lot more people showing up, you got to get the, you know, the Italian bread. Then you have to have the rapini going on. I've got some provolone there, and then we're just going to take a little bit more of this porchetta. Oh, could you just hear that crispiness? And here's the secret with this one. We're just going to go all belly on this one. Oh my Lord, we're gonna tie that up, but then like once in a while you get these little skin parts hanging off there, and that's gonna go on top. And Tracy, when you hit that with your mouth, it's just gonna go inside your brain, almost like you're eating Pop Rocks, you know? So we'll pile that one up there. Oh. You're gonna need to squish that one down when you're done, right? And so then the last one, what we're gonna do is the next morning, you know, you wake up and maybe you played a bit too much bingo and had a few too many cocktails. You need a little bit of breakfast to get you going. So what I've got here is a charred, you know, you always get a bit of color on the tortilla. And then what we're going to do is just a little bit of American cheese, because that's the way things go. And then we layer in that porchetta like that, wrap that baby up, down it goes, and you are good to go for the day. Check that out.
That is a beautiful hangover breakfast. So you saw it here first, everyone. Porchetta, done 3 ways. Such a great use of one porchetta and nothing gets wasted. Chef, thank you. Great work.
Thank you, Trace. Thank you.
Looks so good.